And I gotta know, as we seen that Snipe does pick up an Elim on Benji, what happened? What went down there in Stark Industry? We gotta see in a moment notice. We'll get that replay up going.
Yeah, and that was Benji's full Elim as well. Their trio is down. You keep an eye on that top left corner now, as we're going to see. It's an off Thomas HD and Flick. If there's anybody to rise to the challenge and go after these guys, it will be them. You can see Anath already holding on to elimination. Flick finds Mitro off of the start, and not only that, but the power weapons in their hands. You can see Tayson tries to make a little bit of an escape here, but you know they're going to ride that one down right away. Big white tags coming out there, and Flick, who accounts for 75% of this trio's eliminations pre-round or pre-zone 5, is going to find his second one here, and they're going to wrap up for the first time in this tournament. Tayson, Mitro, and Mongrel go down with 0 points. They had never finished.
You know, passively, aggressively at times whenever you needed to get your way further into in-game. That's going to help off people like CRR Wolfies, who are known to be great opens box fighter players.
But right now, we're keeping an eye on that Storm Surge threshold on the right-hand side, just above the map. We talked about them being below it. Well, the key snipe there coming from that World Cup runner-up there, the young controller player from England. Wolfie's finding a great tag, some key shots on players trying to rotate in. Now, this positioning, we've talked about it time and time before, it's called the gatekeeping position. When you're in the safe zone and pressuring players who have the zone at their back or either already into it and need to make it into the new safe zone. And it's where a lot of teams who had the foresight to rotate earlier are able to get key opportunities to pick up eliminations. And you can see right now, Duck on top doing a great job spraying down shots there, having control of the pieces in the area, and now trying to locate where that weak member is.
And we're seeing already the rest of the lobby, you know, seems to heating up at the right moment. Hen picks up a knock right there in the Elim feed, so that's going to be huge for them. Now that we know that the big monsters are out of the game, that's just going to make everyone play a little bit more loose. It's like all of a sudden the parents are not watching anymore. The kids are going to run rambunctious. The Rugrats are going to do what they do best, and that's going to be an opportunity that they have to capitalize. You're going to have a big pop-up game here if you're Analyx, Xweez, and Giannis, if you want an opportunity to get that first place. And I mean, we're all going to have to keep an eye on. We talked about moments leading to bigger moments, and that moment of the opening engagement from Thomas, Flick, and Anas getting out Mongrel is causing so much waves throughout the entire time. And look at that. Analyx, Giannis have someone on the ropes in that back half. Let's take a look at the overall picture here and see who's going to have a strong position going forward. This is going to be a very interesting in-game, considering we have a lot of water and Lazy Lake POI in the distance.
Right now, you can see Wolfie CRR not having to move, just still perched up on top of the building. Lanouf, Lorraine, Jaspe, the other team who had originally contested over at Stark Industries, but not brave enough to go over there in the grand finals, posted up. Getting a nice 360 view here. Shout out to the observers, by the way. They've done a great job catching all of the action and giving us some of these beautiful shots. So you see a nice little double ramp rush coming out from our second place team. That to me indicates that that fourth zone was revealed, and they're going to try and get priority over that entire western side, and a good push from them there. As you see Floki also pick up an elimination onto Swag. So the French trio continuing their tradition of picking up more elims than normal in the mid game, as Andalex in another one of those gatekeeping positions here, priority high zone. And I mean, the reason they're packed around the outside is that fourth circle, so we have half in, half out right after this.
This is a strong gatekeeping opportunity. The only danger they risk is getting sniped returned, and that kind of return to sender type lethality is going to be so dangerous to deal with. But they're sitting good, they're covering angles, and almost someone kind of almost out of nowhere, kind of peekaboo Jack in the Box took a shotgun blast for Analyx and kind of woke him up for a brief moment. You got to be careful here. You have those edits open, the greed sets in, and we've been seeing time again Benji gets sniped in the back various times. We saw a highlight where Thomas HD was able to sneak up on him, and they had a harpoon snipe play. Hey, that greed could catch up to you. You have to be sure that you have all your angles covered before you move on. But look at this, Sundown, a max rotation pull, and this is going to be tough for Analyx, Giannis, and Xweez, considering that there's a lot of people in their way for making this rotation.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Okay, I was just about to say, trying to see who has shockwaves on that side, because they're going to be using it right away. Because if you go too late, everyone else on that side will have already built up on the high ground and be turning around. So you need to kind of time it with other teams. So there's a plethora of targets going through the air, and you don't end up just getting swatted down like a clay pigeon. But right now, Exqueeze and Andalex instead opting to stay up on their high ground, and they're going to pick up Patrick and Deceptos, leaving Hen all by himself there. We're also now rotating into the first round of placement points. 18 trios remaining, so one more will need to fall. Then every single trio that drops will be a singular point. Wolfies picks up a huge knock there onto Clement, indicating they're also making a rotation towards kind of that central zone. Everybody already posted up in Lazy Lake is more than happy and keeping an eye on the Elim feed. Janeth gets knocked there as well. So our top 4 trios facing a little bit of adversity, but who's capitalizing on the opportunity right now? It's the team who took the situations by the horns. Thomas HD and Co. grabbing some Elims, but we're going to hop back on board here with Nate, Smash Dave, and Bobo Exalti, our wild card team, trying to find some more rifle Elims on the side.
Rojo's team going into the day were top 10. They kind of slipped a little bit there, and they're trying to find their footing in 12th place. This is a strong opportunity. You had basically the lowest of chances to get into the grand finals, and you were one of the ones that came out on top in a wild card finish. And there's just proving the point how strong the EU region is. The 33rd team is now sitting in a top 15 situation. Now we're going to kind of pull back. Let's take a look. We already know that actually Wolfie's spot get taken out by Flix Trio. So now we're going to take a look here as now the first 6 full rotating circle is revealed, and Exalti, Nate, and Rojo get that prime priority position.
And that's the benefit of going early with the utility. They're going to be able to go before anybody else identifies the opportunity to. Keeping an eye on the top left, Thomas HD and Co. still rattling off the eliminations and making their push further up into the money, taking advantage of the opportunity they made for themselves. It's a breaching charge up the leaderboard, but right there, Bobo finding a great shot and good conversion onto Matzo that Rojo's going to be able to pick up. Hen still on his feet, trying to do it 1v3 style like he's used to. Steelix finding CRR in the feed as well, but Bobo just trying to find a little bit of room here on the low ground. Sees his teammates are a couple levels above him, should be looking to rejoin them, as now we're going to flip on over to the side of the zone, get a wide shot there to see everyone trying to rotate and get in front so they can then about face on the rest of the lobby. And our second place trio is still up on their feet, but it's just in a duo form, as Floki is also going to get knocked. It's all going to be on Nakos now for our 4th place trio, as the first placement points will take over. Every trio up, beginning 1 point, but still 40 players remaining, 9 of which are under Storm Surge. Our 4th place trio going down. 2nd place trio also getting knocked here, as Nate, Dave, and Bobo are continuing to just be on the front priority of the zone. Hen doing his best solo ranger impression, picking up another knock, but right now all about priority, as these guys are going to begin to find picks.
We're going to see a new name at Hype very shortly, considering Mongo Trios is out. They went out at the very beginning. This is the wild card on the low ground, working as a unit, doing really well. They're trying to find space control. They don't have much of it, considering there's a lot of enemy builds, but they're going on the Storm side of things, so they're going to be able to save as much as possible. A nice pickup by Nate right there is going to go back into the Storm to pick up those viable loot. Now we're going to get a point and see and look at who's at the mid ground, who's at second height, who is at the low ground. It looks like Nate, Exalti, actually Bobo going down, so it's going to be Nate to Rojo right now, and Rojo is really low, so all of it's going to be back time for Nate, considering that he has a strong power weapon. He has some crash pads, so he can cause some destruction, and now Nate is going solo dolo. Steely picks up an Elim, Hitzi picks up an Elim, and Steely, and Hen picks up a knock, and Hen is still up, and Nate picks up an Elim. Everybody's trying to capitalize that, knowing that the big dogs are out of this match here, Sundown.
And Hen finally going down the solo run into the top 10, but Nate says, I'm Mr. Solo Dolo himself. Crash pad up on the high ground, gets Antarak, and we saw SLQ had a brilliant kind of tactical performance yesterday, hiding in the tree there for their 2nd place, so some high ground control, but again, textbook from the top down. When they're given the power position, they're taking advantage and trying to storm up the leaderboard. Thomas HD flicking it off on the high ground, and nothing to do now.
And Esweez is out, so that is the 2nd place team going down, getting eliminated. This is Thomas and Anas and Flick's world to be able to bolt themselves up their leaderboard. This is the strong opportunity to do so. They already have, look at that, Double-digit elims, 11 elims. This is going to be such a strong game from this trio, and now we're in a top 4 situation. And Flick and Nos and Thomas HG has initiated the spread, the split, the deadly split that a trio could initiate and rack up a lot of elims and cause disruption. And Flick has those crash pads as well. He's going to be able to throw them down and cause more disruption on the low ground.
But I want to see them execute and close out this game. Too many times during the qualifiers, they'll be in this position and it'll slip away in the final moment. And if they want to put themselves in the money, if they want to unseat Mitro, Mongol, and Tayson all the way, not just from the landing spot, but from a miraculous run and unseat them at the top, they have to get all the elims in the victory right now. Nos finding Flois in the side. Thomas making sure he's all the way up on height and he has a shockwave to also throw down on the low ground. Going to continue with the crash pads, sends up a Nos, but Flick goes down. They're going to put the heals onto Thomas, and then a Nos is going to go down and try and close out the match. Challenge comes up with a big 75 tag coming through. Here's the thing. A Nos is down 1v3, but the tick is going to end up coming over. Centric is in the zone. He has the healing pads, and Thomas HD clutches it up there. Well done, Louis, going down in 15 eliminations.
It'll have to be a repeated time loop every single game, though. They'll have to come to bargain over and over again, because right now, the top 5 is looking exactly the same.
11 spots on the leaderboard just from one Victory Royale with 15 eliminations. Another team that we've seen moving up here there was Nate, Bobo, and